on in the year and getting to that point in time. Doma has the experience, and yeah, I think Run is a really big one for me as well, to just mention it briefly. In this team, he is now back on dual list for the first time since Stage 1 2024, when he was still representing Vitality. So that's going to be a real confidence builder, booster, if he can show up. He played Neon all of yesterday in the best of ones, and it didn't look amazing. But he's going to be on the Waylay here on Split, up against Filu, who you already said didn't look too great on Koi. But clearly there's something in the Koi water, because as soon as Grubby left, he also showed improvement. So maybe Na'Vi have seen something that they like, and that's why they've put so much faith in him.
Yeah, I hope so. You know what? It's just stating reservations from the get-go, right? It's not like I don't want to see Philo succeed or anything like that. It's just the expectation for me is Philo needs to go and prove himself as to why he's on here. Sociable, top 4 finish, right? Hero and Ruxic, I mean, they were the top performers on Navi. And as for Shao IGL, like it's the first time I've seen in a long time Shao IGL, and so what he's going to provide is something to look forward to. Hopefully it's a good debut year for him.
Yeah, just looking at the compositions here quickly, nothing too ridiculous. Doma on the breach is definitely an interesting one. And talking about Na'Vi, this double controller look is something that they've been stuck to, wedded to so far in their Blender games. However, it's slightly different because we're seeing Hero on the Viper this time, and Ruxic actually bringing out the Chamber, where he was usually the Viper player on this team, and they were actually flexing around with Sociable being the one doing some of the Omen, which we'd seen from him on BBL, and I think that's one of the reasons why he was lauded so highly for his performances with them last year. The fact that he could almost pick up any role that he needed to, and here it's going to be the Sky.
I can't remember the last time, actually, just off the top of my head, that we actually got to cast a split. That's something else that's just clicked in my head. But yeah, 100% agree. I think Sociable will be the link between the rest in terms of roles to allow people to do what they want to do, whether that means that Sociable moves on to Omen, Shell moves on to Scan. We'll see that later in the year. As for now, we'll set up the Chamber or Ruxic on that. Is one that I think is going to be a good decision, considering how good he was able to frag out at the end of Split 2.
So Na'Vi starting out on the attack side here of Split, a map in their history which has a lot of credit, and with Angel, the former in-game leader, now in the coach slot, should be the support that they require to pull this one apart. It starts off with Ruxic having that freedom to just roam in the range of his TP, pick up the opening kill on ramp, and force Joblife into an awkward reaction which costs Enzo his life.
Yeah, just walked straight into a battalion of Na'Vi players. So now you're looking at the breach at the back of A, under siege, needs to be careful, but Chiwa is here to support.
Already revealing himself with that first jump spot. Ruxic holding on, and the rest of the players on the Na'Vi side closing the gap, but Jiwa, despite being blinded, walks away with 2 kills. Doma's trying his best to delay from sight, but this disconnect, unfortunately, lends Na'Vi the advantage again.
Now this player's low, though, has Achiwa unlucky, not able to capitalise onto Hero, but backed off and waiting for Kamek to come in to support.
Huge value from the regrowth there as well. Both players topped back up to full HP from Sociable. Again, continuing his role in this team, and as headshots go traded, Chua is the one on the weaker end, but still walking away with more kills. That's 3 now on the round for the anchor player. Make it 4 once the flash has ended. Ruxic hits a brilliant shot with the headhunter, and falling back onto the Ghost has no problem clutching it out. Na'Vi getting the pistol, but by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, I mean, 2 great individual performances from both sets of the server. One from Ruxic and one from Chiwa. Ridiculous. I mean, that's a player as well who will be proving why he was originally picked up for BBL. Obviously, circumstances out with his control, but a top player.
Not able to win the 1 versus 1 here, but up against his former teammate. Yeah, it's a weird one, I think, for both Sociable and Chiwa this off-season. Not getting the chance to go to Tier 1 in Chiwa's perspective, as Ruxic's opened up B here for a plant. And then for Sociable, right, getting dropped from that BBL project as they signed up the Pacific boys, it has been a bit of a weird one, but it feels like both have landed on their feet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great conversation to be having right now, because I feel as if Sociable and Levin are really hard done by, right? Profit and Yampi were the real assets that they wanted BBL to move on. So, with that being said, the other two were kind of just left lying there. Magnum not getting picked up either, which I felt as if he had a really great couple of splits as well. So it feels weird to have a top 4 side not have all 5 of the players picked up. Nice couple of kills from Ruxic there.
And maybe he'll be getting onto an early tour de force. We'll have to see. Runner really needs to win that duel. And while we were speaking about some of these duelist players building up the early confidence, it's actually been Ruxic taking the game by the scruff of the neck. And finding himself a little multi here on the anti-eco.
Yeah, it's nice to have your chamber play so well, 2 orbs away. And yeah, we don't need to see that again. Come on, guys.
Speed it up, speed it up.
Yeah.
Rifle round, everybody. We've got an outlaw in play, but no one in striking distance for that one-shot kill.
Anyway, yeah, basically now we're looking at Joblife starting to control these lanes with the rifles that they have in play. It's interesting though that NAVI don't want anything to do with the extremities and more to do with mid, and they've been able to grab control of it.
Yeah.
Joblife respecting this so far.
He instantly seizing precious real estate, and the reaction from Joblife is to retake B main control. They'd already known that the chamber Ruxic was operating here early. And the jump spot from Chua will just confirm the information. Navi setting up for what looks like a B split.
With a late lot potentially to come back through mid, it's the reclear from Joblife that you're looking at. Enzo just seen exactly what's there. But it's Hero up next. Chua to peek into him, the orb just not stopping the line of sight, but it's Filu on it now. Can't quite grab Kamek, and well, the moment goes fleeting, so the players in heaven can start to look towards the B site, and when they do, they get the kills they're looking for. It's an even trade all out, but the player who took the most damage was Sociable, and he can't heal himself.
Yeah, no stopping power left for this Viper either, and Runner has a full belt on the retake.
Hero looking towards heaven, a player who's usually good for these duels, these battles, but instead walks away, leaves Sociable all on his own, no trade ability, so it has to be the clutch that Hero has always been good for. His trademark, the foundation in which this Navi roster seems to be built upon. He swings out and takes the player off the plan, can't quite get a clean fight, and gives Joblife the first.
Fantastic gap close there from Runner to get them back into the 2-on-2. Sociable hung out to dry, but you can see what Hero was trying to do with the open plant. No snakebite to fall back on, and like you say, he has been the backbone of this Navi team. He was an investment made in the previous year from Fnatic as they wanted to build around him, right? And it's both him and Ruxic that really lay the foundations for this team in terms of future talent, Turkish talent that we've seen so much of in the region as of late. Still money behind Navi coming into the next round. In fact, enough for Ruxic to bring out an off and still be one away from his own ultimate.
Well, Viper's Pit invested towards mid. Navi had set priority there on the last round, but it's just a straight pop out of B main. A little bit of delay not working out, and Kamek and Runner under fire, but able to live up to it. A player to the good of the defense right now. Shao tries to escape into hell, and exactly where he will be put. So now the 2 remaining players have to try and rescue the spike.
Yeah, no smokes either, in a really awkward position. Ruxic gets on the line early though. No reason for Joblife to give him what he wants.
But he's creeping up. A gap in which to walk, scared of heaven, that's where all the players are, but the spike most important. That's in the back pocket. You can see at the moment the Viper starts to move in towards CT. Hero looking on towards the attack of the spike, trying to bait out a peek, and instead he baits himself. Ruxic gone. Hero can't quite deal with how many bodies are left, and we will equal out.
Yeah, Hero in another clutch situation, this time partnered with Ruxic. We were just speaking about how important they are to this Na'Vi side, but unable to make things work after we see a heavy commitment of the spike by Xiao into this position. And that shot's just not quite landing to convert, but for Joblife, that's now 2 from 2. Runner finding impact, which is exactly what they would have been looking for, and he gets an op from his opponent as well.
That's going to allow the Navi, it's going to allow the defense of Joblife to do so well. Chiwa trying to be cheeky behind his own orb. And once again, Navi's precedent in mid takes up once more.
A lot of the strength from the chamber in this composition comes from getting line control and then looking for these extensions of play. And with the way that Joblife is set up with this double controller, they can keep cycling the smokes. It's really difficult to find value. Ruxic just doesn't quite have the angle into vents. There are 2 Joblife players here, maybe looking to re-aggress when those fumes expire. And that's exactly what you're expecting, but it sets up Ruxic in a really strong position where he can't find the shot, but Runner can.
Yeah, exactly. Stop the push coming through, goes for a second shot, but instead takes loads of damage. Navi at least get the site.
Should have an opportunity to plant the spike here with it in tandem. A Viper's Pit and Elbow could be strong, but it means little if Filu can't find the shot he's looking for. Waylay out into the retake if required, but right now Na'Vi just have to find the kills. They've started to do it through Sociable, but it leaves only Hero left. He does have the pit, but it's only a stinger in his hands, and that's not the kind of choice weaponry that's going to be supporting you all too well here. Always losing the spam battle against the Phantom. So Joblife take the lead.
And they do so excellently. Being able to re-clear, working as a unit. Something that Enzo, his calling structure, right, has always been good at, as those fundamentals, right? The reactions, the protocols that he likes to drill into his team. And so far, the drilling looks pretty decent from the leader.
Yeah, regimented as you'd expect. It's interesting that we're seeing Enzo on this Joblife team, I think, in the first place, because of statements made by him in the press conference directly after the Ascension finals, but very much showing that willingness to keep competing. And Split as well, a map which, when he was leading Liquid in the previous year, in 2024, was a real struggle for them, especially with roles. But here, it's another mid-fight.
Oh, we're shut. What has just happened there? Kamix TP'd into the depths. And, well, Navi have ended up being put in the depths themselves. It just seems as if the tier 1 side are not winning any duels at all. Getting overwhelmed and traded every single time. It's up to Hero now once again. And up against an op, he has no chance.
Yeah, you can see that Joblife really want to fight this mid-space where possible, as they're understanding that behind those smokes, Navi setting up to challenge them, but just felt like they weren't prepared for it to drop and see this duel when we just had it in the previous round. Ruxic, with the extended range of this rendezvous now, with the changes to chamber, has so much freedom to challenge, but he also needs a little bit of setup to find the maximum value, and here it's just a case of a really good timing for Joblife, which has forced the first timeout from Na'Vi, putting them onto an eco.
Yeah, Angel calling the timeout here to talk about what is actually going wrong with the team, because at the minute, after the pistol and anti-eco, nothing has been going right at all. And I mean, to even talk about Navi's history on Split Hazard, the one thing that I always call to mind is a match that me and you casted, able to 13-0 GX side that beat Heretics the week previous on the same map.
Yeah, a GX side which Runner was a part of in the server right now, and that would have been one of the last officials that he played in a black and blue jersey. Of course, I think it was a very frustrating conclusion to the year for him, seeing that team then go on to improve results at the cost of his own spot on the roster. But the duelist is a completely different role for him, and I think roles were a really big factor in that team not fitting. We've seen a slight improvement at the start here. but that op hasn't really had the full chance to shine just yet. It might do against these classics. Oh, and a rifle for Feely.
I wouldn't doubt it at all. The players trying to brute force their way through mid once again of the attack. With that spike not committed anywhere, you can see that NAVI are just checking their options.
Kara, I'm starting to wonder, did Shao just forget to buy? Because this is the weirdest, like... I'm seeing a stinger, a couple rifle... Who knows, man? It's the IGL Classic. Welcome to the club.
Chiwa has found himself on a nice little off angle as the players look to try and head up into his position. There's also a stun just waiting through. In fact, it's not just a stun, it's the full ultimate. Chiwa getting ready for the swing, but the flash is good from Sociable, and Chiwa gets got. So now, advantage Navi.
Yeah, Navi want to quickly scale off the back of this, but Doma finds one on the fadeaway and groups up in the site.
Yeah, it's up to the main player about to come out as Hero. Can he provide something different? A different angle of approach as Kamek goes up top. Doma with 4 of his own. Joblife just have the answer to everything.
Yeah, Doma playing a really good round on the whole there. Felt like the Rolling Thunder was a little bit preemptive, but it did stop the rush. Chiwa does overexpose himself with this reposition, but the rest of the utility was good. He was able to drop off beyond the Sky Seekers. A touch of class from Kamek to close it out, but yeah, Doma is a player I think who was a hot topic after Champs, especially that Paper X win. A highlight of his career, but something we'd seen all year on Enterprise, so I'm glad he's getting this opportunity now.
I feel as if though that he should have been, I mean, I don't know what happened in trials, but he should have been on like a tier 1 trial list or at least in a team,
potentially.
Right?
Potentially. The impact was there though, and we all saw it.
Yeah, 100%. Run up. He's looking for his own impact. Through towards Shops, Feelu and Shao don't understand the danger that they're in as Runner goes for the peak, finds his pick! Shao! Lovely spray transfer, but we will go all even, and that stops Navi having any smokes for the rest of the round.
Yeah, that'll make up for it though, and there is still a toxic screen towards A, but Doma is looking for this timing, fresh off the back of a 4K. As long as he can hold screens, he's done his job.
Big F, especially when you're up against Hero, but his positioning much more reserved as Ruxic goes walking into the smoke. Why would you do that, Ruxic? You've got an op. So an advantage now to Joblife as they try to retake and successful. So far, it's up to Sociable. The 29-year-old rookie from last year. Can he do it right now as the rest of Joblife look to swing him out? And that will be Joblife guaranteeing at least 6.
Yeah, it's a bold attempt from the young gun, the 20-something-year-old, as you put it, the rookie in the server. But jokes aside, it felt like Na'Vi were on the back foot for the majority of the round. I think Shao makes up for a lot with this transfer, but the fact of the matter is, you can see he's in his smoke utility. Feelu is kind of sitting there next to him, feeling like a bit of a spare part. And all the while, Joblife being incredibly proactive, still winning out this mid-duel, and just offering all of the right reactions at the same time. So the simple stuff done efficiently for Joblife, at least, is looking better than what Na'Vi can offer right now.
No, Navi, what they're offering is a low buy. 3 stingers in the mix, 1 Spectre, and the spam is somewhat hitting. Shao able to throw a flash through, and they're really trying to pressure in towards A Heaven, which they're successful in doing so, but Ruxic also gives himself away, missing his shot.
Expect a player to be moved up, does now. So Showstopper from Feelu still trying to push the envelope on the A site, but Doma's won the duel on Ruxic. Enzo with that fabled Odin. The round only feels to be going one way right now, and the Feelu decayed. Oh, he was in the firing line but wins the duel. A Hero one more as well, and all of a sudden there might be a chance.
Might be, especially with Feelu having a rifle, but he paths elbow.
Need for a little bit more stall. Edge of the Waylay ult, but manages to sidestep it. Runner has a difficult shot to try and land, but it's the Hinder which has done the job instead. Doma teed up for his 3rd, and Joblife moving to a 7th.
I'm going to ask you a question, Hazza. When do we get the second timeout from Navi? Because at the moment, I am not seeing the impact that Angel had in that first timeout. so far, this roster, it just isn't impressing me whatsoever. They're being outclassed at the moment.
I think if Angel is still happy with the ideas presented heading into the rifle round, as this was a mixed investment, and we're not going to see the timeout unless it goes 8-2, but I do agree with you. It does feel like some of that synergy is struggling to build, at least in terms of what the scaling looks like and how NAVI are moving through the map, this partnership of Xiao and Filu. Runner the first player to receive, but there are 3 bodies on the Joblife side towards A.
And Runner feeling that he needs to get out of dodge at the moment as there's a nade planted at his feet. He'll go, and Filu's shots look great. That's what we were looking for. A little bit of evidence of what he's got in the back pocket. And that puts NAVI closer to a round win, especially with that shot from Ruxic. So Angel, with his Enzodin, has to try and clutch up a 1 versus 5.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It ends flawlessly, but I was just about to say, night and day from the previous round. You see Filu double satchel in there, but it's this paranoia from Xiao as well. That pairing I was talking about, finding some value, brilliant adjustment onto the next. And that's exactly what we want to see from this NAVI side. Give themselves a couple more rounds heading into the half. 4 would be good, 5, great.
Kind of get it. A full arsenal of weapons and even a buy into the next. So NAVI should be sitting pretty. And they do have that showstopper, which is most important. It's just
Kamek might want to give up the space here, honestly, because you have that Rolling Thunder coming back into the retake. Filu is going to take a lot of ground in the process, though.
He's going to go a step further and take in towards CT, which I really like.
Fired off a blank. There was no rocket, but Sociable is following this up with extra util. Paranoia over the shoulder of Xiao, but it's never sent in. He waits late for the stun to expire and catches a perfect timing to dispense Kamek, relieve him of his duties. Walking straight from Doma, and 2 for 1 on Ruxic's op. NAVI spin this into a 3-on-1, and Doma's work is cut out for him on the other side of this one-way.
Yeah, how does he even get out from here, right? The time ticking away. Might be just as well saving, but Hero's here to catch.
He's not going to. It slips through his fingers. Sociable makes no mistake, though. Safe pair of hands. And NAVI, 1 away from maximum return after being on the other side of a 7-2. These last few rounds have been a much better change of pace.
Yeah, I'm liking this. Seems as if the B site could be a successful one for NAVI to continue to try away. I didn't think that looked like a collab, but fair enough, Ruxic, you'll take it. And the question is, as this goes 7-5, the storyline that we've had from this first half gets completely switched up.
Yeah, it's pause just before the halftime break. I'm never really a huge fan of this because it doesn't always feel like you can get the most value from it. But then again, the difference between an 8-4 and a 7-5 can be drastic at times, a 4-round gap or just the 2. NAVI have ults to work with here, though, so an extra 60 seconds to check back in with former in-game leader, now current coach Angel, could be pretty important. Like we say, those quick executes that we've just seen from them on A and B worked out really well. I'm wondering if that's something they want to continue here.
I mean, the question is, though, is if they do continue that, does Joblife have a plan? And that's exactly what they're creating right now. Every little bit of credit will have to be used, as well as the 3 ultimates that are available to NAVI. And I think the fact that Sociable does have those Seekers will make a clear of the site so much easier.
NAVI have had more practice with this roster than Joblife, as it was newly assembled, but you can already see that the results are starting to turn in their favor. Sociable punishing Runner early, stun not setting him up for success. And Xiao, deep in heaven, has fully overloaded this with NAVI players. Doma cut out of position, and just like that, it's a 5v3.
You can see at the moment, though, Yuchi was dancing with the idea of going up this wire, but if he does, there is Ruxic waiting.
Just the pace of NAVI already so strong, and Xiao still holding on to the blind here, looking to set up Filu again, and once more he delivers. Building on those performances into this team now, and Kamek already noted, hit the trap behind, cancels, and it's looking like this one is all but over. A matter of time, a formality before NAVI will find 5 on their attack side of Split.
Yeah, just waiting for the confirmation here, and there it is. 7 to 5, complete switch up of the kind of idea, the picture that we were creating for this game, because NAVI looked completely out without a key and somehow managed to buy themselves back in. This is just unfortunate. Just obviously you can see the jitters of a new roster not coming together there as Runner manages to dash into his own team's stun.
NAVI having created a plan from that timeout, heading in to go so quickly towards the execution with the Seekers immediately. Shao getting into A Heaven as well. Now we go to the pistol though, and what could be a real difference maker if Joblife want to keep their foot on the gas. NAVI won the last on the defender's side, but this one is that much more important for the attack to pick up.
I feel as if NAVI could be so much stronger on the defense as well, just because of that chamber. But I mean, Joblife, their pace, oh, you can't match it, it seems, as they go player to the good once again in the pistol. Yeah,
the setup perfect as well for Runner to get in there, but all of the supporting cast doing their job. Filu grouping back up with Hero in screens, but Shao will be late to this party on the A site.
Starting to work their way through it. Still having to clear so many corners is a real issue, and Chiwa being able to hold on and maybe re-clear in towards Heaven is going to be the ace up the sleeve that Joblife could potentially have. But Shao winning that out, oh, I was going to say it could have been the saving grace. It doesn't work out in the end. Runner with 4 of his own, and Joblife extend the lead.
Yeah, Runner looking really good on this Waylay so far, 11 and 7, but you can see everyone is filling their boots right now on Joblife in the pistol round at the very least. We know Navi started to grow into the game as the rifle rounds racked up, and here I think more than anything you just wanted Shao a little bit more towards the screen players to set them up with the blind. We know a lot of teams have stopped playing Omen just because of the thinness of the paranoia now, I suppose. It's not as wide as it used to be.
Oh, an equal push anyway, and completely batted away. I thought for a minute we were going to get something special from NAVI, but it just seems like it's going to be Joblife to completely roll over any resistance. That is exactly the case, as Filu's left to try and pick up the rest, and enough time for Joblife to prioritise that spike plant and get the orb to who they want to.
Yeah, Filu's also going to be able to pick one up in the process, but I think between the two duelists right now, fairly even. Both have had their moments. The 2026 campaign will be one of re-evaluating and restoring stocks in a VCT competition. You can see Chiwa has closed things out, so it will finish 9 to 5. And with 4 players left standing, it's a pretty damn strong bonus round which they bring to the table here. The question on my mind is, are NAVI going to want to keep up this proactivity? I think simply getting Ruxic in a strong position on a line versus this double controller, specifically towards A, is probably something that they'll be trying to set up.
I think the fact that they've got the capability of having 2 Oppers on NAVI through the duelist and through the chamber is going to be extremely strong, and one which I think will allow Split to be a success. But it's the mid priority once again from NAVI as they look to hold on, waiting for Joblife to approach.
Playing for the A retake, perhaps anticipating that Waylay ult to be used earlier in the round, but as NAVI retract themselves from mid, that's where Joblife are starting to split this site.
Yeah, they're starting to move up, Hero aware, and able to deal with everything. Absolutely no damage sent the either way, or what it feels like is finally Shao will get done. So 2 to 4. How do you try and recover this if you're Joblife?
Yes, especially now that Hero's been healed up again. Such a situational ability, one of the reasons why Sky has fallen out of favour, but Sociable seems to be finding value from it, round on round. The setup at the start was for an A retake, so as long as he doesn't overexert himself here on A, then Na'Vi are playing to their win condition in the 2 versus 4.
30 seconds left.
Sociable. I was going to say, maybe putting himself on an island there, but it has just left Runner all alone. The plan looked good, and Runner having to bail them out with just his Phantom now, which he won't be able to do.
So Na'Vi get the first of the rifle rounds on the boards. As we know, the game started off with them winning the pistol and anti-eco. It went 2-2, and then Joblife moved on to build up a lead. But this composition does lend itself to the defender's side, especially with the additional utility damage that you get through the raise. The fact that Ruxic can continue to push with the availability to TP and drop back, you're really trying to build him up onto an op as early as possible. But the only sniper in the server right now sits in the hands of Enzo as Joblife begin with this A-ramp default.
Runner consistently trying to use the refract as well as the dash to try and put pressure on Na'Vi, see if they can bait out a peek, but instead as they walk up, Na'Vi stand tall and deal with everything. And unlucky for Kamek, he can't quite get the transfer.
And that's where you see the blind not be as effective as it used to. It wasn't lined up on the player's ramp. You've got to be really accurate. This 1-2 punch of Filu and Ruxic are doing so much work right now, though. The chamber's fallen, but the raise is still going.
Information, confirmation, Enzo, well, they don't know it's him, but a player is still top of ramp. As you said, Filu and Sociable well up to task if needed. Well, unfortunately, actually Filu won't be. So Chiwa able to break out here. Enzo looking to try and reconnect, and Chiwa breaks the site open. Hero swings out, wins the round.
Yeah, Hero, with this Phantom on split, how many times have we seen him just spray down a couple of players? It was absolutely vintage from him before. He's rocking the Bolt Phantom now. He had the 24 champs one before. But enough yapping about skins. It is Filu and Ruxic which have been tearing a new one for Joblife right now. Just playing together. Ruxic can take first contact and dip off. Filu's always there to support with his own aim. And now Joblife on a mixed investment, a half buy by all intents and purposes, and with so many stingers in the mix, you're expecting them to go at quite some speed.
Well, that's exactly the case, as they try to put pressure on Hero, but that's not the player you want to find. It seems like a formality now, as Joblife look reckless in their approach, and flawless is the answer.
Yeah, I'm really liking the Na'Vi setups on this map so far. We've been joking already. Angel talking of putting Filu in Sage jail, but it feels like the roles are on point for this map. It's a change up from what we'd seen and who was playing which smoker. But there's an extensive coaching staff behind this Na'Vi team. It's not just him, but it's Chippy as well. He secured a long-term deal with his partner, got married in the off-season, so congrats to him. And Flynn brought in as well from Twisted Minds. So.
Yeah, I really like Chippy as well. Nice guy, and congratulations to them. But Flynn, I think, is the real pickup in the off-season, considering how influential he was in helping Twisted Minds find success.
Yeah. Comes into the team as an analyst, of course, and has created a lot of tools used in Valorant in the coaching scene. The old demo viewer before we had the replay system. But still useful, I suppose, before we can download those VODs.
Yeah.
This round starting with the stalemate in B main, but now Na'Vi have to defend the A site, and Filu has already started off with one, but nothing more.
Only able to, and well, right now Joblife are just not clearing the corners overall. Again, it's that same reckless approach that we've seen before, trying to be quick, but maybe a bit too quick. As they find themselves at a disadvantage, Joblife trying to go up against what now feels like a juggernaut awakened in Navi. And it seems as if Doma might have an escape route here.
30 seconds left.
He's going to fake it, wins a 1v1 against Shao, but doesn't actually win the 1 versus 1. He got a ticket, but unfortunately, no luck of the draw.
So we find ourselves at 9-9 between these two, and yeah, it feels like Navi have maybe got rid of any rust that they had coming into this game. As at the start, I wasn't impressed, and now it's just went from strength to strength.
It was always their defender's side, which was the better of the two as well. Think of that 13-0 against GX, 12 of the rounds on the defense. In terms of the theory, the application of that through both Angel and Shao now as the headpieces of this team, the brain behind it. You then look to the Joblife side, and Larson and Skaz, having renewed their own contracts with the team, they've proved that they can win titles with Joblife. But for me, the jury is still out on showing up in some of the bigger matches. Now, sure, this is still off-season, but I'm talking about the Challengers 3 performance and then into Ascension. It was a brand new roster, of course, but fact of the matter is that the results weren't quite there. They have been renewed and had faith put back into them, but I'll be interested to see if there's any impact from the timeout here.
Yeah, I think like that's the big thing. This is an eco round, so maybe there's a plan that has been practiced that Joblife want to try and use here. But overall, we're looking at the next round for the real impact, right? There is obviously the Viper's Pit. If Joblife can get in towards site. But the Viper nowhere near that B site.
Shao will have been spotted off of B though, but very quickly walks back out the alleyway and picks up Runner. The furthest player forward falls, and Chiwa no better. As Navi are able to restore order and take a lot of that ground back, it looks like another of the VCT teams is on the warpath to 2-1 right now, as Vitality in their game have managed to beat Era off stream. Double digits on the horizon. Just Kamek standing between that and Joblife.
Cover going out.
He does have the stinger and he's trying to get players up close and personal. Still know that the spike's still there. And unfortunately, the spam in the end is flawless for Navi. So finally, they will take the lead in this match for the first time.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming as well, but from 7-2 down to now 10-9 in the lead, this is exactly what you wanted to see from Navi. All of the individuals winning their ones against the Sheriffs here, but there is support, and you're starting to see those partnerships build between these players for the first time. Hero and Sociable. Players we've seen in Turkish Challengers, but just not on the same team before.
Shao continuously being left alone towards this B site to hold. And at this point, you're hoping that Joblife would just go and try their luck. But Navi, proactive as ever, taking deep mid space, and this is going to cause problems for Joblife without them knowing it.
Yeah, Navi are essentially playing retake on both sides of the map. Sociable can get early info through his utility, and Shao can teleport out of danger. But the question will be, how many can he find here? There's a full Joblife team executing onto A, but the cavalry should arrive soon.
Yeah, and they're here just in time. The refract away. Chiwa only gets Sociable, but the trades look somewhat decent for Joblife. Still players standing here for Navi, but it's up to Rooksake, and he can't quite connect that last shot. A collat that would have brought the round into possibility.
Yeah, whisker away from a double that looked far more realistic, but as you say, Navi had the numbers, couldn't win the fight. It falls onto Shao. 2 TPs and a blind, but no smokes.
Does he even want to use utility? He wants to rely on his gunmanship here as he finds a gap, sees the barrel, but he goes out so wide that it's easy for Kamek. We're back to double digits for both teams.
Yeah, that's crazy. I thought he'd played a blinder, and I'm not talking about the paranoia. The positioning there was fantastic from Shao, but just asking a little too much. Navi tried to flood out of heaven, but then caught themselves in this halfway house, and I don't know how Hero fell. It was the aftershock that caught him. I'm not sure from which position exactly. But what looked like a good basis of the round falls through. So 10-all, and Joblife want to double dip on the A execution again.
Tour de force to hold down mid as it looks as if, I was going to say NAVI look to reinforce the A side, but might not be needed as Sociable is able to hold on by himself. It seems like Hero is there to support, but it's all Sociable. That's all it ever is! For the 29-year-old!
The 29-year-old talent just keeps on doing it. It's brilliant work from him. As someone who used to be a duelist main, but has remained ever reliable and flexible when required. This one here at the end was unsupported by any kind of a trade coming in. Ruxic a little later, but with the confidence to just keep going. 20 and 14 right now. Joblife pushed back onto another bad buy.
Hero under pressure, runner straight up towards mid, and even looking to continue on his approach and deal with some chamber utility, but Ruxic easily grabs Chiwa, and on top of that, control of A main, so Joblife forced into a decision here.
Yeah, great kill from Ruxic, especially after the dog missed out on early info in A main. Joblife rerouting themselves to B tower, but Hero's just spraying away behind this. Has to be a little careful.
I mean, the whole of Joblife need to be careful. Ruxic's here. He'll get his first on towards the pack of 4 at least. The paranoia did look good. The Hint Hunter isn't finding, but that's where the rest of NAVI come in to support. And it leaves Joblife stranded with no way out.
Ruxic has just sent an early Christmas gift to Joblife. They now have an operator in this round. I'm not sure it would fit in the stocking, but they'll take what they can get. Kamek on 6 points of health. Maybe wants to throw it out the map.
Left.
Maybe wants to see if he can find something here.
Cover going.
At the very least, it might be an orb, but Filu could have him dead in an instant with that util.
It's whether they consider it. Filu has. He's the one watching the smoke at the minute, and will get that kill easy as that. The Sheriff of Doma not hitting, and NAVI will find map point.
Yeah, I guess we're just playing past the parcel. Kamek's given the operator right back. I like the idea, and especially off of that timing on the boom bot, but Filu just far too diligent. And here, this was really nice. Ruxic setting up on that A main fight. It's so difficult to scale your Viper now, especially with how much more chamber I think we're going to see on the new patch. So it was an initial dog which Sociable actually kind of messed up and hit the wall with, but really nice mid-rounding from NAVI.
TP Kamek to try and beat out some noise, but as Ruxic continues to be aggressive through mid, he will have to TP away, giving up that space once more. There's pings towards heaven here from Joblife.
Yeah, 2 opportunities to close out this map and move themselves to 2 and 1. Joblife into the site, but Filu watching over it. Through the decay, runner drops, and Kamek not too far behind. Joblife sent their marching orders as NAVI stand 5 strong.
Joblife need to try and find ones, but a top stack here is going to be difficult, but not for Doma. So he finds Hero. A Viper's Pit if Joblife can get to post. And with Sociable just on 8, a raid boss that if can be failed would open up the door to possible success.
And because it's Hero who's dropped here as well, it's that Viper wall off of A. Any extra util to stop them might mean nothing if Ruxic can thread the needle through mid here.
30 seconds left.
Op trained
One
on the
enemy
line,
remaining.
but the attention
Spike
turns
down,
to Filu, stealing the limelight for himself and stepping up in a big way. NAVI end up winning split 13-10 on the back foot in the first half, but the Rifles right the ship.